Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Chapter 8, Rustlers Cove. Mr. Jake, why do they call this place Rustlers Cove? Sammy asked while looking around at the beach where they had just docked. Rattlesnake River made almost a U-turn right here in the river, and tall bushes marched right up to the riverbank. Behind the bushes, rocky cliffs rose like walls on both sides of the river. Yeah, Mr. Jake, Chris chimed in. Cattle rustlers could hide here, but how could they get the cows here? Float them down the river? Well, it seems they weren't rustling cattle, Jake said, his eyes twinkling. Seems they were rustling gold. Gold? Willie rolled his wheelchair over to join the group. Chris scratched his head. You mean they found gold in this river? Nope. They stole it from the folks who did. Then they hid it here. Here? Maria looked around at the high cliffs. Where could they hide anything here? You just walk yourself over to that bush with the dead wood sticking out of the top. The kids ran over to the bush. It was covered with berry vines and stood twice as tall as any of them. Chris stuffed his mouth full of the juicy blackberries. They're good, Jenny said, eating one at a time. Did they hide gold in the blackberry bushes? Maria liked the berries but was more interested in the rustlers. Jake picked up a stick and used it to pull aside the vines. Anybody want to see what's behind them bushes? The kids saw a hole cut in the vines. Chris and Sammy dropped to their knees and began to scramble along the low path. When they disappeared, Maria heard their voices loud and clear. Wow, look at this, Sammy, Chris said. Yeah, but look over here. This one's bigger. Dee Dee was curious too. Wait for me. Come on, Jenny, Maria said. We may as well go too. Jake turned and noticed Willie sitting in his wheelchair. I should have made that hole a mite bigger the last time I worked on it. Then you could roll through it. Oh, that's okay, Willie said, looking down. They'll tell me about it. Jeff, Jake called. When Jeff trotted up, Jake pointed at Willie. Do you suppose you can hoist that young man up onto your shoulders so he can see over? You're about the tallest thing around here unless there's a stray giraffe I don't know about. On Jeff's shoulders, Willie could see the kids exploring along the base of the cliff. Hey, Chris, he yelled. What's that dark hole? It's a cave, and there's another one over there, Chris called back, pointing to another dark hole. Caves? Mrs. Shue asked. Are they safe? Safe as a flea behind Bonzo's ear, Jake answered. They only go in about 5 or 6 feet, but I thought the kids would like them. Back in them little caves, Jake told Willie and Mrs. Shue, the rustlers chipped out some little holes where they put the gold. Then they piled rocks in front of the holes so nobody would notice them. After supper, the evening was spent singing and telling stories around the campfire. The kids missed Bonzo and half expected him to come loping into camp. Hey, everybody, Jake said to get their attention. Tomorrow we have to get an early start, so bring all your gear to the raft before breakfast. You'll have to hop to it, or Jeff will have your tent down before you're out of bed. The kids groaned about getting up early, but soon settled down again to sing campfire songs for a while before heading to their tents. Maria ignored Chris as much as she could. She also decided she didn't want to ride with Chris on the way home. While everyone was saying good night and going to the tents Jeff had set up, Maria went to Mr. Teller. Mr. Teller, may I ride back with you in your car, please? Sure you can. We have plenty of room. He paused and then added, I take it you haven't ironed things out with your brother yet. Not yet, she mumbled, and ran to her tent.
The story you have heard today is a chapter of the Shoebox Kids, Book 11, Rattlesnake River Adventure, written by Sandy Zogg, edited and created by Jerry D. Thomas, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.